Australia is a land known for having some deadly wildlife. When it comes to something that can take you out with ease, what could do a better job than a theropod dinosaur concealed by the darkness of night? Welcome to Cryptid Corner, the series all things cryptids, and today we are going to look into the Burrunjor. The Burrunjor is a giant creature said to inhabit the northern territories of Australia. The Burrunjor is said to originate in Aboriginal folklore and is described as a large nocturnal lizard, 9 feet tall and 20 to 25 feet in length, and walked on its hind legs and dragged its tail behind, devouring kangaroo and man with ease. Over the years, mainly in the 1950s, cattle ranchers would be the first to seemingly rediscover this powerful creature, devouring their cattle and leaving behind large free-toed footprints. The legend of the Burrunjor is mostly known from Australian cryptozoologist Rex Gilroy, who gathered several stories regarding the creature. Despite allegedly being known of by the Aboriginals for ages, the oldest known encounters stem from the 50s, with farmers in Gulf country would witness what appeared to be a T-Rex devouring their cattle and leaving behind the ravaged remains and free-toed footprints, which were never photographed or casted. In 1978, a large bipedal reptile would be spotted near the Flying Fox cattle station. In 1984, in Narooma, New South Wales, on the other side of the continent, Gilroy had claimed to discover large tracks, but unlike prior cases, these prints would be cast and photographed. The casts are quite large, with the feet being 2 feet wide and 2.5 feet long, with 3 toes, appearing like those of a theropod dinosaur. In 1985, at Newcastle Waters, cattle ranchers had noticed that something massive was disturbing their cattle at night, hidden in the bush and only leaving behind odd footprints. The last encounter, which also occurred in 1985, would involve a family on their way to Roper River when they notice a 20-foot-long monster, this time covered in feathers. Since the last encounter, the Burrunjor would never be reported again, vanishing into the Outback. The Burrunjor is quite a perplexing cryptid to think about, given Australia's prehistoric fauna. Some believe the Burrunjor to be a surviving theropod living in the Australian wilderness. Theropods such as Australovenator, Rapator, and the South American Megaraptor come to mind, being relative in size to the Burrunjor, although it is also possible that this could be the descendant of an entirely undiscovered theropod. Many also assume that the Burrunjor could have been a surviving Megalania or an undiscovered relative. Many lizards have been known to post up on their hind legs in order to look around and intimidate unwanted company. And terrifyingly, Megalania is thought to have done this as well, looking like something straight out of Jurassic Park. A problem with this is mainly the reported footprints, as Megalania has more than 3 toes and would have left behind quadrupedal tracks, as this is their preferred method of locomotion. Personally, though, I feel like the Burrunjor is a hoax for a few reasons. Regarding the Aboriginal legend, I could not find any evidence of the Burrunjor originating in any Aboriginal sources directly. Lizards are quite important to Australia's First Peoples, often being used in their mythology, beliefs, traditions, and artwork. But somehow the mention of the Burrunjor can only be found in the works on the Burrunjor itself. Personally, it feels pretty obvious that this lore was made up to make the creature seem like an ancient relic, or that it was more established in the local folklore. Many other neo-dinosaur cases will do similar things, claiming an older origin to make it seem like it was always there. But if you can find older documentation on the Burrunjor, go ahead and let me know. I definitely want to hear that. But even if the Burrunjor was this ancient, it doesn't explain the lack in sightings over hundreds of years. Europeans had attempted and failed to colonize the region for hundreds of years, since 1606. But from the 1870s onward, there would be a permanent presence in the region. So how come it would take 80 years for a giant predator to start devouring their cattle? The span of the sightings only covers a 30-year window, and interestingly, these sightings were only covered by Rex Gilroy, whose 1995 book, Mysterious Australia, is the first published usage of the word Burrunjor ever. And I mean, think about it. Despite a T-Rex looking creature devouring their cattle, none of them decided to tell their story to the press or the government. This seems really fishy. I mean, there would have been newspaper articles on this thing, but I couldn't find any of them. The stories also tend to describe the Burrunjor as a theropod that you'd see in like an old school paleo art thing from before Jurassic Park. You know, with the more upright posture and them dragging their tail on the ground, like a kangaroo, kind of ironically. Outside of the feathered account, maybe they were ahead of their time. And also, the account of it dragging its tail, that is something that people thought that dinosaurs did way back in the day, but turns out that they don't. There are countless more discrepancies, like the footprints, that just seem really off, and other details. But personally, the whole thing just feels like another neo-dinosaur hoax. It is possible that people could have misspotted different creatures or misidentified other animals, like kangaroos, obviously, cassowaries, and emus. Or perhaps even rogue ostriches. After all, they are theropod dinosaurs. The Burrunjor is a neat neo-dinosaur to think about. After all, if a non-avian dinosaur were to evolve in isolation and survive the KT extinction, Australia would be a pretty damn good place for that to occur. But in reality, a giant dinosaur surviving is incredibly unlikely, and its only known sightings leave much to be desired, only occurring for a brief period. And although I feel like a surviving megalania hidden in the Outback is a possibility, I don't think that it applies in this case, or is a proper match for the Burrunjor. And until we can prove of its existence, the largest dinosaurs roaming Australia's wilderness are emus, cassowaries, and those ostriches that I just learned about like a few minutes ago. And yeah, I'm gonna have to make a video on that. So definitely comment down below if you're down for that video soon, because yeah, I gotta do that. And that is going to do it for the Burrunjor. This was a pretty interesting Neo-Dinosaur to look into. It's been a while since we did a Neo-Dinosaur, and I know y'all have wanted a Neo-Dinosaur for quite some time. I know y'all love them. Even though I think, like, I always have, like, the lamest, like, kind of explanation, like, oh no, it's not real, there's no way it could be real. Personally, you know, I feel this one, in general, has pretty low likelihood. Even though Australia is a pretty likely place for a dinosaur to chill at, I don't know, it's just them only being spotted for about 30 years and then, like, never again. Like, there hasn't been, like, a recent sighting of these things. I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem too likely to me. I'd like to look into the megalania or the ostriches as stated prior. I literally just kind of took a shot in the dark on the whole ostrich thing. Turns out there are invasive ostriches in, I think, South New Wales. That's really cool. I'm going to have to look into that, definitely. But what did you think about the Burrunjor? Do you think that it's still a likelihood that it's out there? Do you think that there is a dinosaur roaming the Outback? Do you think it's BS? Do you think it's a megalania? Do you think it's another lizard? Make sure to comment it down below. I always love to see what y'all have to comment, your suggestions. This video is a suggestion. It's been a long time recommended topic, so yeah, I definitely felt like I had to get this one out there. But again, if you like this video, leave a like. If you really liked it, make sure to comment down below. And if you really, really like this content, make sure to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications so that you are always notified when uploads go up. And if you want to be a real one, if you want to be immortalized, right in front of this beluga right here, your name could be right there if you become a member. For just $3, you can become a member to the channel. You get videos early, you're here with the beluga, and you are a real one. You're a real one regardless, though. You don't even have to be a member to be a real one. You are a real one, even if you just like the content. But anyways, I'm going to stop yapping there. I'm just kind of yapping. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.